Streaming live via the internet. Welcome to ISP Radio, your weekly source for ISP-related news, events, and interviews with industry experts. You deliver internet via fiber optic, wireless, coax, or any other way. You're in the right place. Chat live with us weekly via ispradio.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now a brief word from our sponsors. Link Technologies, providing ISP consulting, support, and hardware for wireless ISPs. TowerCoverage.com, providing online RF coverage maps. Mimosa Networks, providing high-density, high-bandwidth radio products. Advanced LLC, providing retail and wholesale advanced communication services by matching providers with your bandwidth needs. And by Sitel, providing reliability in surge suppression. And now your host for ISP Radio, Steve Grabio and Dennis Burgess.
Welcome to another edition of ISP Radio. I'm your host, Steve Grabio, and I'm broadcasting from the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, Moriarty. And I have my producer and co-host on the show, Dennis Burgess, broadcasting and producing the show from St. Louis, Missouri. Dennis, you there?
I am here.
Dennis, we've gone through some dramatic changes to make things better for our radio show. Can you tell the folks a little bit about what we've done?
Well, we have a number of things. Well, one of the very first ones that we have is, guess what? Look, we have a little bit of video now. We're going to have a brand new show. Hopefully, we're going to be able to do our wonderful shows through our video system, through, of course, giving our customers and all of our listeners ways to see what's going on, as well as a lot of the products that we have actually have really great demos, the ability for us to sit there and take a look at those products and to be able to take a look at those products live via basically our YouTube video system now. So hopefully we're going to be able to do this. We're going to have better audio quality. We're going to have better video quality. Obviously, we didn't even have video then. So we're going to have all that, and hopefully as we continue on, we will have lots and lots of new options and new systems that, of course, we can do as we go forward. So, again, going forward, see what happens, see if the new format will work for everybody.
Right, and this show right now is with that new system, so we're working out the bugs. Dennis searched us out and figured it out to make it, and I asked him, do you sleep? And Dennis said, yeah, I sleep. I go, how do you find time to do this stuff?
Well, you know, I mean, this stuff here is pretty basic. We're just going to switch for our carriers, and hopefully it'll all work out. You know what I'm saying?
And the additional benefit of the video is if we have vendors on the show that want to show their product, we can definitely add that so you can actually see, can't touch it, but you can see what they're talking about and how it adds benefit to you guys as ISPs out there.
Exactly. I mean, you have to think that most of our products and most of the systems that we take a look at and that we have on the show are related to our ISP industry. And most of them are graphical. You know, we have everything from, say, hosted applications such as our billing platforms to what we're going to be talking about today, TowerCoverage.com, and many other systems. So all of these systems we really need to kind of show off sometimes.
Exactly. Seeing is believing, if you will.
Exactly.
So with our new format, Dennis, any news on the front out there for WISPs other than the 477 and WISPalooza that we've been beating the drum on?
Yeah, well, you know, there's always things going on with the ISP industry. The very first thing, of course, we have WISPapalooza. It is coming up. Everybody knows about it. Everybody needs to be aware of it. And these are really important things. So make sure you, as a subscriber and as a wireless ISP, are ready for WISPapalooza. It's coming up in October. Definitely need to take a look at that and check it out. Going forward, we also have a number of other things. Form 477 due September 1st. You can actually start filing now. So just in case you didn't know, you can go to FCC's website and you can actually file right now if you go online. So keep that in mind as well. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of news from last week. So hopefully things pick up. We got a lot of people out there. We have tremendous heat here. So there's actually a really good discussion out on one of the forums on when is it appropriate for you to not have your installers up on a roof doing an installation? So that's a good conversation we can have in the show as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the interesting footwear that I have my guys wear when they are on roofs, we talked about that too. But the neat thing about this, and Dennis's company has tower coverage, and with the benefit of the video, they've actually upgraded their tower coverage, and I'm going to let Dennis talk all about it, but with the added benefit of video, he's going to be able to show us some of the things they've done to make it better and to make your life easier. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dennis to give us a show of what's cool about tower coverage.
Well, yeah, Steve, I appreciate the opportunity as normal. For those of you that don't know who and what towercoverage.com is, we're just going to kind of go over the basics real quick. So tower coverage is a way to create RF propagation maps for your website, for your marketing purposes, for any type of purpose that a wireless ISP would need. And trust me, wireless ISPs need this. This is not something that you're going to sit there and never use, okay? The very first thing you think of is, why do I need wireless coverages? What does these wireless coverages give me that it doesn't give other people? Or what does it give me that I need to have over my competitors? So the very first thing is knowing your coverage area. Now, whenever you're a small ISP, small wireless ISP, you have 5 or 6 towers. Guess what? You, as being the individual, you can go out to this site or this site, whatever the case may be, and you can sit there and say, hey, I think we have a pretty good chance of getting that. Or you're talking to someone on the phone and you use the example, hey, well, I think I know where you're at, or I believe I know where you're at. So what I'll do now is I'll come on out and try to do installation. Why? Because I know the area. I know where I've done installations, and I know where I haven't done installations. And all of these are very, very good pieces of information. But as you grow up, as your website and your business gets bigger, you're going to have the issue of, hey, I need to be able to take that information, that knowledge that's inside my head, and put it together into a form factor in which somebody else besides me, besides myself, besides the owner of the business that's been doing installs, can understand. So the very first thing we think about is giving the ability for us to add a tower, or giving the ability for a non-RF person to know basically where you cover, which is very, very important. Here in Missouri, we have lots of hills. Lots and lots of hills. So it is very important for us not to waste time on site surveys. We do not do site surveys at all. We only do installations. And if we think we can get an installation, we will send somebody out. But we're big enough now that, guess what? We don't know. The salespeople don't know. The ladies that are answering the phones, they do not know where they're at. They don't know where we cover. And that's why tower coverage was born. So the very first thing that we like to talk about is, the tower coverage gives you that option, gives you that information, gives you the ability to take that data and to pass it on to people who are not RF capable, or onto people that are strictly sales. So that's number one. That's probably one of the biggest reasons. The second reason is we have a marketing aspect to this. So let's say you want to go out and you want to put up a new tower. Just because you want to put up a new tower doesn't necessarily mean that you should. You have to have some type of marketing aspect. You should be able to go out there and say, do I have companies requesting service, or owners requesting service in that area? How many does this coverage from XYZ tower, does it augment my existing towers? In other words, give me another place to shoot at from my existing coverage areas, or does it give me new coverage areas that normally I would not have? Those are very, very good, very, very good pieces of information. Now we go on to the further marketing piece. So one, how do you take that information and get that information either to your internal people, or how to get that information into your website so that the public can see it? So that's another feature of tower coverage, is we have what we call the EUS, or End User Submission System. Now, by default, this is just simply a map. It allows you to embed a map from the tower coverage system directly on your website. You add a tower, you go to towercoverage.com, you add that to your multi-map, and bam, your website's updated. You don't have to know HTML or anything to get your website up to date, okay? But as we continue on here, now we have other features and other products, okay? So we can change that EUS to what we call an end-user submission form. And we'll show this here in a minute, but this end-user submission form allows you to collect data from your website. Now you have people taking their personal information, their phone number, their name, their address, their GPS location, where they're actually at, and they're taking that information and dropping it into your database. They want you to give them service. So they're filling out the form to get that done. Very, very, very important. Now you take that information and you combine it with what we talked about earlier, which is the mapping. So now I have new XYZ tower I can get on. How many customers that had originally requested service from me that went onto my website and actually entered that data into my website? How many of those customers are interested in getting service? And now this XYZ tower, this new tower, can we get service? Can we service those customers? And if we put up this tower, what can we do from there? How can we improve it? How can we help that system? And now all of a sudden we can take those that new tower, we can go, look, all these people that we get now, or that we can cover. Before we install that tower, very, very important. Before we install that tower, what can we do? What can we do with that before we install it? Well, now we have a list of names. We have a list of names, addresses, phone numbers, all this information that we can use to market. So very, very important things, because now we have that ability to market it. We have the ability to take that data, take that data, and now go to those people and say, hey, we're putting up a new tower. Would you like to get service? Simple
So Dennis, this kind of ties into build it and they will come, and flopping it around. They will come if you build it. So that's powerful, because you're not expensing money on the hope. You're expensing money on people that will sign up if you build it. Is that kind of where you're going?
Well, yeah. The ideal is, forget about building it and they will come, because that ship has sailed. That doesn't always work. And
right.
Most business people do not want to sit there and take the chance that that's actually going to work. So what we do with tower coverage is we sit there and we say, hey, how about this? We know where the tower's at. We can simulate that RF coverage. We know where it should cover. How many customers can we get prior to ever actually installing the tower? Right. I have a good story, and I've told you this many times, that one of my customers actually came out and told me that they had almost 40 subscribers off of a new tower that had already paid them the installation fee prior to them even getting up on the tower. They had all the contract done. Everything was done. They were ready to install. They just didn't install the tower and start paying rent until they called all these people. And then as soon as they got the tower installed, they actually had a crew going out for 2 weeks just trying to get these people who said, hey, I want service as soon as you can.
That's a definite way to do it. I mean, all the money's collected beforehand, and you can make those commitments beforehand. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's the goal here, is that you can sit there and hopefully have all this information taken care of prior to doing the installation. And then, like I said, let's say you do list where you can get service online. Hey, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay. But now you can sit there and you can take that new tower and you can just drop it right into tower coverage. And now, bam, your website's up to date. Just like that. You don't even have to do anything.
Well, you just have to update the new tower. That's about it.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but that's easy. Right. That's easy in tower coverage to do. That's not hard, you know?
Right.
So I guess let's go ahead and take a look here. Just so everybody knows that is listening in, there is a little delay in the system. I think it's about 30 seconds. So just so everybody knows. But if you have questions, please, there is a chat window at the bottom. If there is not on your webpage, refresh the ispradio.com page, because we've been working on that. But go ahead and refresh that so we can have that available for you to chat. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get into our little demo here and show you some of what towercoverage.com can do. Now, one of the big things we have here is we actually have a new system. Okay. In this new system, there it is. It's up on the screen. Awesome. So this new system allows us to have the ability to actually do maps faster. It allows us to give you better data. It gives you the secondary read-only accounts. If we let the little menu scroll through here, it'll tell you everything. But of course, creating the coverage maps are the big thing. TV white space, 900 megahertz, 11 gigahertz, 24 gigahertz is all there. We can do the link path analysis, so you know that whenever you put in a new tower, what kind of radios you're going to have. We can take mini coverages and overlap them and show where towers are and show your complete coverage. We have a wonderful Android app that already works. See right there, SRF8, that's where our new tower is. Easy enough. And then, as I said, homepage coverage maps, these ability to give the maps and get the maps to your customers. And all the settings are simplified. We're not creating reinventing a new wheel. We try to make it very, very easy for everybody. And it's all a web-based interface, so you don't have to do anything as far as learning to program. All of the data that we have, which is actually over a terabyte of data now, is all stored on our system. These are maps. These are land cover, trees, hills, all that kind of stuff. Worldwide is all there. So definitely a lot of data. So let's take a look at our new beta site. And again, if you have questions, we do want to take those on our website as well, ispradio.com. You can see those and go from there. So the very first thing you'll notice is we have a whole new dashboard. We have a whole new look to the site. And this is because we have completely redesigned the entire site from scratch, all the way from the ground up. And we had to do that to get over some, to be honest with you, to get over some technical limitations in the old site, but also, of course, make everything faster. Something else, I know it doesn't seem, it's not like a big thing to a lot of people, but if you notice up here, we already have, and we already are IPv6 enabled. So our website, the beta site is already V6 enabled. All the sites is V6 enabled because guess what? IPv6 is coming, whether or not you like it or not. Okay. So we have all that. We have all your abilities to see all of your multi-maps, all of your sites, all of your coverages, links, your link groups, and even your radio systems. All those things are embedded into the system very easily. So we're just going to take a look at a multi-map here. This is a multi-coverage. So it lists a whole bunch of tower sites, and as you can see here, it lists a whole bunch of a whole lot of coverage area. And as you can see in our area, our coverage area is very holy. We have a lot of hills and valleys, as you can see, so it's very important. We give you how much population you should cover, how many square miles, square kilometers, all that information is listed for you. Now, we talked about, one of the things we're going to talk about is our link group. We have a link group that we can use that will allow us to, as you can see here, create and show our network map and show all of our links as we need to. So we can go to one of these links. We can actually click on one and actually see there's our water tower to Dittmer wireless link, the performance, the distance, the mileage, all that information that we're supposed to have, that we need whenever we do a link path calculation is already there. And that's just another link group that we have. We also have what we call static overlays. So the static overlays, we provide some overlays, but guess what? In our new system, in your My Account settings, you can actually upload your own KML and KMZ files, okay? And actually see those KML and KMZs overlaid with your system. So an example, here's all the U.S. county lines. This is a KML that we provide, but you can easily upload something similar in your system as well to be able to do that. Now let's take a look at this other system here, what we call the EUS data. So we're going to zoom back in here. We're going to turn off our link group.
Dennis, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
You were talking about the link group, and there was a performance indication there.
Mm-hmm.
that is what mathematically it should do. That's not an actual probe of the system. I mean, does tower coverage have that ability?
No, it does not. It does not probe the actual system. This is basically stating that based on the link path that you put in and that you built, this link path, assuming these antenna heights and assuming these performance gains, in this case, we have a 13.8 mile link, and we have the ability here to say how much signal it's supposed to get. Now, we'd have to go back to the actual link to take a look at it, and we can do that real quick. It's not a big deal. Again, our new system is actually quite quick. So we look Dittmer to the water tower. So this is the actual link path. And notice we have tons and tons and tons of statistical information here. And what this is basically saying is that this system, based on the antenna gain, based on the line loss, so this is a 1 watt transmission at 28 dB with a half dB of loss, okay, and a 28 dB receive antenna, we should get a neg 60. Okay, and yeah. I'll be honest with you. This is going to be within, I'd say, 1 or 2 dB of accurate. Mm-hmm. Whenever we put up an actual radio system, it's usually within 1 or 2 dB accurate. The big thing we find a lot of times is we find that the issue in this case is that people go up, and notice we have a zenith and tilt here. Okay, so this tells us which direction and how much tilt the antenna needs. Okay, but on point-to-point links like this, we need to be able to take that data, and we need to be able to give that to the installer so that they can actually install the link. Because we've seen, especially on air fibers, they're really bad about it, where you put up the link and you think you have really good signal, but in actuality, you're on a side lobe and you're 10 dB off. Mm-hmm. So that's really what you need to have a baseline. Whenever you go up and put up this link, you should have XYZ is what you or what most people do in those cases.
Right. So it just gives you the mathematics of the link.
Exactly. But it's just physics. Yeah. We're not reinventing the wheel here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So the answer is that data is accurate. That data is what it should be. And if you're under that, especially significantly under that, then there's probably a problem. Mm-hmm. And that can head off issues before you get there. So anyway, one of the other things I like to do here is I'm going to notice I can move this little pin around. Okay, and we can move that pin, and we can hit this path analysis button. And you're going to have to give me a second because I have to tell it to show my my screen on that one. Hey, there's everybody again. So within a few seconds, a window will pop up and you get this. So this basically says, here's our point, our green point. Here is the, in our case, what we do is we do the 6 best sectors. So it doesn't matter if it's further away. There may be not a really good sector to hit with that, but these are the 6 best, okay? And it actually will process up to 200 sectors up to 50 kilometers away. And then notice we have path analysis to each one of these. Everything with link is not possible with the expected signal. You know, here's a longer link. It's 6 miles, but notice the link's not possible. You know, right where that one is, you know, we pretty much have bad signal. And the best one, which is the very top one, which is this Zion repeater, is only 1.2 miles. But notice we have tree encroachment, and we're taking that tree encroachment into account. Okay, and I just happen to know this is 2.4, so that's probably why it's actually showing any type of signal. The link not possible is actually a basis from your sector. So whenever you create a coverage, you actually put in kind of like what's the minimum signal that you want to see, and ours is usually neg 70. So this one says neg 77, so it's going to be not possible. But this is definitely something that is. How can I put it? This is definitely something that this only took 5 seconds to generate for you to see. You know what I'm saying? So this is very important that you have something like this so that you can create those systems very, very quickly.
Is this something new in the beta system here that you guys have implemented, or is it just faster?
That's actually a really, really good question. So in the beta system is actually a whole new processing system that does that. Originally, the system only looked at the 6 closest sites. Okay. Now we look at up to 200 sites, up to 50 kilometers away, and we look for the 6th best. Because just because it's close doesn't mean that it's going to be a good signal.
Right.
So we're really looking at what actually has the best signal, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So part of our system is what we call the website integration, the EUS form. And the EUS form has actually had that for quite a while. But due to programming limitations in the old system, the old production site, which is going to go away hopefully fairly soon, and the new beta site will be up and running as the main site. Whenever that occurs, we went ahead and implemented the new system that is going to be much more accurate and much better.
Uh-huh.
So all of that information. It's a good question, but yeah, I mean, is it faster? Yes. Is it a better one? Yes. We're actually taking a lot more data into account in those cases.
Was in the old system tree incursion included?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was. So that was always part of it. And, we've had some people ask about land cover and trees and all that kind of stuff. We have lots and lots and lots of systems out there that we get data from. We've had some people over in Europe go, well, hey, I have this Clovis data or Columbus data or something like that. That's part of the UK mapping system. And that's actually already included in our system. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, well, you don't have that. Well, yeah, we do. It's just included. We take what we call the best data system. So what we do is we look at multiple data sets and we compare them and we come up with, hey, which one's really the better one? And then whichever one's the best, we combine it with what we call our best data set, which is everything else. And whenever you use our system, it is always using the best data set. So if you're in Northern Virginia where they have 1/9 arc-second resolution data, we will use that. If you're in Missouri where we have 1/3 arc-second data, we use that. If you're up in Northern Canada where you're down to 1 arc-second, we will use that. But that's the big thing is we use whatever data is the best whenever we combine it with that best data system.
Gotcha.
So the other thing we have, let's see if we can add I don't know if Jim has one of these turned on. We'll find out. I don't think so. We also have, and I wish we had this turned on, but he does not. We also have what's called a frequency group, and he does not have it turned on, so I can't really show it to you. But what it would do is it would show you the paths and the distance and channels. So each channel would be a separate color, and which would be a separate little pie for each sector or circle for Omni, and it would show you each any type of channel overlap that you may have. That's what's called our frequency grouping system. That is in the system at this point in time. Now, this is his public map, so we're going to do this. We're going to go to Wi-Fi, his website here. And the example is that when we go to this and we update it, notice we have this little iframe code right here. Okay, and there's even a copy button, copy it to your clipboard. But this code is all that you need. So he goes over here to this coverage map, and bam, there's his Wi-Fi Midwest coverage area check. Now notice he has this little form. This form is the EUS form. Now if we go over here, we're going to check this and turn off the EUS data collection. We're going to update it, and we're just going to refresh his page. Bam, immediately he gets the actual map that we were just looking at.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason for that is because we turned off that data collection. So we can, again, we can now have users come in here, just type in their address. They can find out where they're at. Okay. But that doesn't really give you anything. I don't know. I do know websites that do that, but it's so much better to turn on this EUS data, update your multi-map, and then whenever people come check your coverage, they are actually presented with a form. And this is how you collect that subscriber data. Okay. Now, here's the really cool thing. So we go back to our public coverage map. Okay. We have all this. Now, let's say we want to come down here and we're going to put a tower. Let's just go over here to Grubville, this little area right here. And we want to put a tower there, but we want to know if there's any customers out there that we haven't been able to service. We have this view EUS data link. It's a lot of information, isn't it?
Each of those X's represents someone that's filled out your form?
Exactly.
And are those people that have not been able to get service, or?
So notice there are multiple colors. The X's were either no service. If you notice, most of your X's are going to be outside of the green coverage area.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of the yellows, what the yellows are is that we went there to do an install, but for whatever reason, the customer declined to do an install. Okay. Now we still have a lot of them. We've gotten quite a few of those before we scheduled installations only. I should rephrase that. Yep. And then the green ones are, hey, we went there and there's probably a customer installed there.
Gotcha.
Okay. But now you have these X's. So, if you put a tower right here in Grubville, you can see what you can actually cover, and you actually have customer data that you can actually click on and actually see and actually be able to have someone give them a call. And that doesn't mean you have to have it like this. I mean, you can go back to your dashboard here. You can just go to an individual coverage. So I'm just going to find Ditmer here. And you can do the same thing. So this is a tower in Ditmer. So Grubville's kind of down a little further here, right here. Okay. But the example here is that, again, we can still view the EOS data. And now we can see, hey, look what this particular tower only covers. And this is actually only one sector off that tower. So you can very easily see where you can get new customers. And all these people that's filled out the form, these are just people that's went to your website, found your website, and filled out the form. It just amazes me how many people actually fill this out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the goal here, is that now they got this, that you got this data, you need to be able to use it. So definitely really, really good information that you need to have out there as well. So,
how you were talking about, with a bunch of X's grouped together, pick an area. Can you, in an area, find out of everyone in the area that would sign up and what you might use to justify to go build something over there, or communicate with someone about maybe setting up a tower? I mean, can you zero in on just the X's that are grouped together in an area?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the goal, is that you can sit there and you can take that data, and now you can go, okay, hey, I have this data. I have a location where I know a tower is, and I want to get on that tower. But before I do that, let me run my path count. Let me run my coverage. So assuming my standard setup that I put up, here's what my coverage would be. And now I can sit there and take that coverage. Okay. And I can take that coverage and I can go, okay, show me all these EUS data users. And now we have the ability to take that information and now give that to somebody. Make sense?
Yeah, you can reach out to those people saying, we're going to be building in the next month. You are interested. You still interested?
Yes, yes. Now, there's a new feature. It's not ready. So for those of you that are listening, don't quote me on when it's going to be ready yet. But the goal is to take one of your coverage maps and to be able to reprocess on no-goes. So any customer that has said we don't have signal, and within the distance specified, we're going to look at every customer that doesn't have signal, and we're going to reprocess it based on that tower and just display that information. So now you're going to be able to sit there and say, here's my potential tower. I want to take all customers, no-goes that were around that tower for, say, 15 miles or 10 miles, whatever it may be. And I want you to find all the customers that, based on my radio system I put in, that if I put up this tower, or I get on this tower and I put up this radio system, this is what I should get. And it's going to sit there and process that, and it's going to process them all, and it's going to show you exactly which customers are good, which ones are bad. So you can start calling at the top of the list. This one should have service, this one should have service, this one should have service, and these are going to be marginal, and then these, no, they don't look like we have service. So you're not calling people you don't need to.
Gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. New features always coming.
Mm-hmm. So you showed us goes, no-goes, and maybe maybes, but anything else on the site that's new that wasn't on the beta system, that's not on the old system?
Well, really, the big stuff is really in the back end, to be honest with you. Now that we have the new software, to be honest with you, we're going to be doing a lot more. We have, and I want to make sure I point this out. We have so many great ideals. We have too many of them. We don't know where we're going to go with all of them. And we are going to be deploying new features. So as I said, the one of the things would be your links. So I'm just going to pick a link here. So inside we have a complete new link system. We have our link paths here, all of our linking. All of our system is much more user-friendly, much slicker as far as creating systems. We had this in the past system. We had what we call radio systems, but we didn't, well, simply put it, it wasn't used enough. And now we have the new radio system, if that makes sense. And what this does is this allows you to put all your performance variables that you would normally use in the system. So if you're always using a ubiquity radio with a ubiquity sector in the same one, you can put all the basic system performance variables that you would want and that you need right inside this system, so that you don't have to sit there and rebuild systems every time. Okay. But it's also important to note that we still store all the data on a per coverage basis. So you can go out and say, hey, I changed this one coverage to a different system so that it has higher gain or a smaller antenna or whatever the case is. But the goal being is that we have made a change, and you can make that change very, very quickly inside your coverages here. So, so whenever you go through all these systems, you're going to notice that everything is a lot slicker, just simpler to use, easier to use. We're going to be working on a whole new EUS database system that will have a lot more searching options for you to be able to parse and pull that data as well. And for those of you that don't know, we do have a news section here, so you can come in there, see all this kind of stuff, what's going on with it, etc. The other thing that will be coming, and right now we still can do it, just so everybody knows we can still do it. We can still do the broadband subscriber data for Form 477 and the broadband deployment data for Form 477. Those systems are not automated yet, but they will be automated hopefully before September 1st, but they will be automated hopefully by the end of the year, so that you can do that right on the website as well.
All right, I got another question. So, ease of use of this system. Can you, I know this is Jim's network, but can you show us how you would build, say, a link from point A to point B as a backhaul, and then put up maybe 2 sectors, how easy it is to do?
Yeah, let's take this. Let's, where are you at? You're in Albuquerque, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to come down here.
Right where that dot is.
Right where which dot?
The red dot down near Chile.
Okay. So I'm just gonna pick a site. Now I'll call this ABQ1. Okay. And say this is what? How big are your towers out there? 200 foot?
No.
No.
30 feet.
30 feet?
Top of the roof of a house.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of hard to see here because we got lots of terrain.
Yeah, just put it high on that mesa there. Yeah, right there.
Right there? Mm-hmm. All right. So 30 feet. Okay, so we create a site basically. So once we've created a site, now we can create a coverage for it. So in my case, I'm just going to use, let's just use a 5 gigahertz. I'm going to use a 5 gigahertz sector. ABQ1 coverage. How you got 2-story buildings, 1-story building?
1 stories.
Okay, so probably 8 feet, 8 to 9 feet probably. Antenna height is 30 feet. Again, you can adjust all these properties from within the system, so you don't have to. You can create a radio system, but it's up to you. Most of our gains are going to be about 19 dB gain on the receiving side. We're going to take a 120 and we're going to point it 90 degrees.
Perfect.
Standard everything else for the most part. And then you basically create your coverage. And notice it says processing there. Most coverages, depending on which processing server it lands on, will usually be less than 60 seconds. Keep in mind, we're doing 12.8 million calculations for every one of these. We do have the primary processing servers are very big, so 24 core, 32 gig of RAM, that type of stuff. So there's a lot of processing that occurs. I don't know how busy the system was to be able to sit there and tell you if this is going to take longer than 60 seconds. But usually 60 seconds is usually what it takes on average.
Maybe
and notice,
Q1 shows complete.
well, that's the site.
Oh.
So this is the recent dashboard here, and this is actually a new feature is that as you edit items and update items, it lists that and it gives you the last items that you have done. So
gotcha.
Right, so that was just a site. So I mean, we can go right back into that site and edit it if we want to. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But we don't have to, you know. So their ABQ1 dash coverage is now complete, so we can look at that. And I had to find out where. Apparently, it did not make anything. Oh no, it's there. It's really, really light for some reason. Oh, I bet you my opacity is set to 0. So if I go back here and you look at this, it's probably hard to even see on your screen. It's right here. I can see the coverage. It's just
all that in the red is people I could hit.
Yeah, and then there's green here too. But let's go ahead and drop the opacity down here. So we're gonna say, and this is a neg 70. Anything in green would be neg. So the way the defaults work, neg 70. Okay, is your default signal, and I always say neg 70 is probably a really good number for people that do the the people that do 2, 4, and 5. Let's try that again if I don't hit the wrong button. You still with me, Steve?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Most people, neg 70 is probably really good for like 5 gigahertz, that type of stuff. So that's up to you on that. Mm-hmm. Okay. But you can change that. And then there's a strong signal margin. The strong signal margin is the difference between the minimum signal and what we consider good signal. So by default, that's 5 dB. So what you're going to see is anything above neg 65 or neg 65 or above is going to show up in green, and anything estimated between neg 65 and neg 70 will be in red. Okay. At least that's the default anyway. Gotcha. So now if we go back to our screen share here, I can turn up the opacity a little bit more, but this gives you a better idea here of we're up on the mesa, or as you say, you're up high, and so a lot of this stuff over here is higher than you, so you're not going to see it. Our sector is 90 degrees, so it's facing due east. So notice we have probably some hills blocking that. Yeah. And you can still come over here and you can still click on one of these and you can still click path analysis and you can save it if you want to or not. But it creates it. And here, let me do this. I'm going to toss this screen share into the actual screen. So I'm just gonna move this pin here, and I'm gonna hit path analysis, and I'm gonna hit don't save, and I'm gonna show you how quick this is. Bam, it's done. And there's that link that we just did, and it shows neg 73-ish is where we should be. I have to look at my parameters again. But notice you're up on a hill, you're coming down the hill. 4.5 miles is out there pretty good. So, and there's lots and lots of options on here as well. You know what I'm saying? That you can adjust. I mean, you may not have a generic 120. You may have a different antenna. You may have a different receiving antenna, things like that. So that's why we always have these options. So once you create that, then you would be able to take those data and make what we call a multi-map. In a multi-map, you just select which which ones you want, and then give it a name, and it combines them, and that's it. It's that easy. So that's the basics there.
So this is a subscription-based service, Dennis. What are the costs associated with signing up with tower coverage?
Well, that's a really good question, and we do have a wonderful, or I thought we had a wonderful pricing page. There it is. So we have a number of pricing plans to start off with, but to be honest with you, our basic plan is $25 a month. That gives you up to 25 maps, and then once you go from there, it will drop in price. And our biggest plan is $199 a month, and it's unlimited. So you can use it as much as you want, as many maps as you want, etc. Pretty much all the systems besides our free basic one gets all the features, so it's not like we're adding features and things like that. Everything gets the basics. And all these features, the website integration, all that stuff, works with you in the basic plan.
So coverage maps, 25. So if you have a site with 4 sectors and 360, that would constitute four coverage maps, right?
That would be correct. If now note this, we have some users that go, hey, I have 4 sectors, but they overlap. Let's say they're 4 120 sectors, and they overlap quite a bit. That's not a problem. But if I take my Omni and I drop it a dB or 2 compared to what the peak is of the sectors, guess what? That actually gives me a good representation of what that tower actually covers.
Right.
Or a good enough representation. That might not be good enough for some people, but it's good enough for your needs, maybe. And in those particular cases, you can definitely do that. And that would only be one coverage map then.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So options are out there. It's really up to you on what you want.
Now, I know this is a very popular service that you guys offer. I've heard that you have quite a few subscribers. Do you guys have like a user forum?
So we do have our support site, and we do have a tower coverage mailing list, but the support at towercoverage.com is really the main site. You can also call in to our office. We do have people that handle that as well. Something else that I want to point out here that I probably didn't already, if we go back to here, is we also have these over here. So we have North American Wireless, and one of the options that you have whenever you whenever you take your maps, you can make that map public. Okay. Now what that does is that actually integrates with this map here, which is a full listing of anybody that's made their maps public, that wants to make their map public. So I'm just going to zoom in over here to your area.
Yeah, who's in Albuquerque?
Yeah. If my computer goes quicker, there it goes. So these people have chosen to make their map public, and we publish this. We ad rank it on Google, things like that. But this allows customers to come in here and put data in and to find internet service.
Aha!
Okay.
Remember I was asking you about Lubbock Internet? Doesn't look like you signed up with your service to make it public, huh?
I don't even know where.
It's to the right. Right in Texas there.
Oh, in Texas.
Down. There you go.
Yeah. Lubbock here, yeah. So there doesn't look like there's anybody in Lubbock that's made their map public. Now we do have another feature that we do, and this is for anybody that's looking for service. So we have this button that says "Looking for Service," and this is going to look very, very familiar to you. This is what we call our Find a Provider page, and anybody that's made their map public can come what we do is we rank this with Google, Yahoo, all the search engines, and the ideal is that, hey, I'm looking for service, so they fill out this form, which is very similar to the EUS, but now this is what we call a multi-EUS form, and what it allows us to do is by them filling this out, we will send, if you are within 50 miles of them, or have a site within 50 miles of them, we will send you their information in there stating, hey, this person was looking for internet service.
Hey, that's value add.
Right. Now, if you have 5 or 6 people or 5 or 6 providers in a near area, they will all get the same information, assuming that they're close enough. Mm-hmm. Okay? But that's the whole idea, is that they're submitting it, and we're submitting it just to the people that are within a good distance.
Right. Okay.
So lots of good options here.
No, that's a total value add for anyone that signs up for tower coverage. It sends people your way, and like you said, you may come up number one. What would be like a search engine topic in Google that I would type to?
I'd have to look those up. I think it's mostly like, find fixed wireless provider or something
Okay.
like that. But yeah, we rank it in there, trying to get everybody or as many people as we can.
Right, adding value to the product. That's the key thing there.
Exactly.
Well, Dennis, anything else? We have any questions on the chat? Let's take a look.
Yeah, I haven't been looking at it, but we will definitely take a look. Doesn't look like we have some, but obviously we're going to have to work on our website a little bit more. We're going to get it up to date. We're going to have our chat, and hopefully we're going to get a lot of our old systems converted. So a lot of our old files we're going to convert to where everybody else can see those and play those on demand as needed as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very good.
Lots of good stuff, yeah.
No, this was I'm glad you were the guinea pig, because this was really informative, and I think that if people were watching the stream, they saw everything that you were doing on my screen I'm looking at. Is that how you envisioned it working?
Oh yeah. That's the goal.
I didn't want to hit play on the website because I didn't want to run into a feedback.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, anything else on tower coverage that's new and cool? We've talked to you about this before, but I wanted to speak to you about it because you guys have released the beta and you're working to make things quicker with more data points. Anything else that's new and cool and gee whiz, like the idea that, if there's an area there that people have filled out a form, if you drop a pin there, who's in that area and what are their contact info so I can go call them up.
Yeah, there's a lot of data that we are working on. It's all not implemented yet. We got so many really, really great ideals, but now we're on the right platform. As soon as we launch this, probably within a week or two, hopefully, we will have everybody be able to start implementing all the new stuff.
Cool. And from what you showed me, it is easy.
Oh yeah, and like I said, it's definitely getting better. It's every day it gets better. The one of the stupid things is latency, making sure the site's fast. We need to do that. We need to make sure the site's fast. Everything has been really, really good, really, really fast now, and overall, we're very, very happy with the new beta site. Hopefully, in a few weeks, we're going to launch that, get everybody up to the latest version, and then we can start adding all the new features.
Right. Well, if you don't have anything else, and if no one else has a question, I think we've expensed our time today. Appreciate you showing us all about tower coverage, and I really appreciate you swapping us over to this Google Hangout thing. This is actually really cool, and I love the video component. It's going to give the people that we can get on the show the ability to show us their products and show us how it kind of works from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, and that's the goal. We got lots of products. We need to be able to show them.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks again, and if you'll wrap us up, Dennis, we will talk to you all you guys next week. I think, Dennis, we got someone to talk about 2.5 spectrum auctions, correct? Next week.
Actually, it's a really should be a really good show. We have Robert Finch from Select Spectrum, and he's going to be talking about the 2.5 gigahertz auction that's coming up. I believe it's in August. And this is a whole bunch of EBS licensee holders that have basically banded together. Now they're going to auction off all these EBS licenses for the 2.5 gigahertz spectrum. And there's lots of different numbers out there, but obviously the urban areas will go for more expensive. But the big thing is that this is a chance to get some 2.5 gigahertz spectrum, and for various manufacturers, Telerad being one of them that operates in the 2.5 spectrum already. This could be a really good opportunity for you to get clean, licensed point-to-multipoint spectrum in your area.
Do you think that if you were able to do that, you could offer SLAs?
I wouldn't see any reason why not.
Pretty rock-solid SLAs, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way, is that now all of a sudden you're protected by the FCC, so if there is a license issue or a interference issue, you can take that up with you have legal recourse.
Right. Well, no, a good show next week. Be sure to listen in, and we'll be broadcasting with the new format here. We'll keep trying it and working out the bugs if there are any.
Yep, we are good.
All right, Dennis, close us out.
Thank you for listening to ISP Radio. We hope you gain new insights and additional wisdom in our industry as well as your business. Please remember to visit our show sponsors via the links on ispradio.com. If you're interested in becoming a show sponsor, contact us at sales@ispradio.com. Now go out there and push those packets as fast as you can. Good luck